everyone, my name is Chandria and welcome to Chandria Carol Stitches. If this is your first time here, thank you so much. I'm so excited to show you all of my lovely whips. And if you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for sticking around even though I've been gone so long. It's really exciting and kind of scary to be back, but it's a new year. We're gonna start fresh. I'm gonna show you all of my whips. I've already finished filming a finish parade for everything that I finished in 2025. So you'll probably see that this will take longer to edit, so it'll probably be a few days later. But yeah, I hope that my whips interest you and you'll want to stick around and see what I get up to in the future. I have so many projects. For the most part, I actually went through for the first time ever and took things out of hoops, out of frames, did like a rough iron. There's gonna be wrinkles. I'm not, going crazy ironing these, but I at least wanted to be able to give you like a good shot of what I was looking at. I will go through fabric. I'll give you just a couple stats, like what percentage I'm complete, if I have that, if it's a digital pattern. However, some of these older ones are ones that I plan on working soon. I did leave in frames, but for the most part, I left them, I took them all out. So for just a few stats right off the bat, I have 64 whips leaving 2025. I had 30 finishes in 2025, and in my finish parade I said 29 because I forgot one, but 30 finishes in 2025. I had 6 new starts in 2025 that are still current whips, and I had 18 new starts that were already finished. So I had a total of 24 new starts in 2025, which is really good for me. And to only have 6 that I'm carrying in, and then we'll be finishing a few of those as well. Like, you'll see, but I'm really happy with this. What I really do want to do though is finish some of these older whips. The age on them is kind of embarrassing. I feel like I get intimidated, like I love larger projects and fall in love with a pattern. I get it started and then I get intimidated by the fact that it's gonna take forever and have so many stitches, and then I just don't stitch on it. I don't know. So I really want to really focus on not necessarily whipping down. I don't really care about my whip number. It's just that I have sad starts, and the age that these whips are sticking around, and I feel like I don't have that much to show for it. That's what I want to change. And I have so many things that I still want to do, long term. So I just need to roll some of these out so that I can start all the brand new glorious things. And designers really just need to stop for like a decade and let me catch up before putting out any new amazing new things for me to get green eyes of envy over. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get into it. These are gonna be in chronological order, and I have notes, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. My oldest whips are from 2021, and I have 4 of them. So the first one, my oldest whip, for the most part because it was my first ever project on something that was not, and I'm just gonna pop the top off of this Q-snap. It was my first thing not on Aida, Terrible thing to start on, don't recommend, but I do love this project. This is Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. It's stitched on 32 count Murky Lugana by Picture This Plus. And I have stitched 3,343 stitches out of 17,997, putting me at 18.6%. Yeah, I messed up on this big motif multiple times, and it sat in timeout for probably 2 years out of the you know, how long it's been going, so it's a little less embarrassing than some of the age of these others. Okay, next is Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. Here is where I am. This is stitched on 18 count Aida that I coffee and tea dyed lightly by myself. And I'm using Old World by Stitchy Stuff Co as the floss. I have stitched 3,630 stitches out of 60,065 stitches, putting me at 6%. Both of these so far I did touch in 2025, but they did not get much love. Next is We Do Disney, and this one was a pattern on Etsy that I can't find anymore, and I don't know. I haven't really seen anything comparable. I'm stitching it on 18 count Aida, just white, with DMC 310. I have stitched 1,429 stitches out of 9,867, putting me at 14.5%. I did not touch this in 2025. Mostly because it's kind of boring. I have, if you get in there, you can see that a lot of this is half stitch. I've been trying to go through and just do the half cross so that then I don't need the pattern anymore, and then I can just go and fill in, and this would be like a good retreat piece. And then the last 2021 WIP is Baba Yaga by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It is stitched on 32 count Catacombs linen by BeStitchMe. And I have stitched 694 stitches out of 17,757, putting me at 3.9%, and I did not touch this in 2025. I don't know, I adore the Autumn Lane Stitchery patterns. They look so cool. They have such good movement with not that many colors, and I really like it. It's just, I don't know, I feel like it's intimidating, and so I just don't work on it, which is, that's a me problem. That's totally a me hang up. Okay, so let's move into 2022 WIPs. I have 7. The first one is also by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It is Lovebirds. I stitched mine on 32 count Crimson Peak Lugana by Jodi of the Steel City Stitchers. I'm not going to talk about needle minders, but if you're interested in any of them, just comment or let me know. Yeah, this one I am at 1,914 stitches out of 4,318, putting me at 44.3%. And 14.5% of that I did in 2025. So I did a reasonable job touching this one, I guess. However, it's really not that big. I mean, you can see from the fabric, it could be done. The others are relatively large. Can I say I kind of have an excuse? But this one, I don't know. I don't have an excuse. Other than I just don't pull it out. Next is Borshch by OwlForest Embroidery. I got the kit, so it's everything on the kit fabric and floss. And we're gonna have to fold this down a little. I have a stew pot so far. Let's see, so this is 32 count. Like I said, I got the kit. I have stitched 767 stitches out of 16,572, putting me at 4.5%. I did 2.7% of that in 2025, but so OwlForest is a Russian designer. Like, I think it's actually like a collective of designers, but one way or the other, they are Russian. And in 2025, the Google Play Store decided to take a stand and removed the Saga, the cross-stitch Saga app, which is also by a Russian company, and what I had the patterns digitally in, because OwlForest paper patterns are giant, obnoxious things. So, anyway, I could have understood this at like the beginning of the war, but I think it's too little too late removing it from the Play Store this late in the game, but it is what it is, and I think I'm just going to have to repurchase the PDFs so that I can use them in Pattern Keeper, because that's going to be cheaper than, like for anything that I have kits for, that's going to be cheaper than buying a Apple tablet, iPad to use Saga, cross-stitch Saga there. So that actually has a halfway decent reason for not getting any more work on it, but I don't know. Like I said, I'll probably just buy the PDF, go from there. Next is Frogwarts Year 3 by the Black Needle Society. Since this is a WIP parade and people meet new floss tubers, I will just go ahead and preface this with I don't support J.K. Rowling or her ideals, and I don't like putting a but on the end of that. But yeah, these patterns are not affiliated in any way, and oh my gosh, I have a thread here I'm trying to pull off. Anyway, they're not licensed, and as much as Harry Potter leaves a bad taste in my mouth now, it did mean a lot to me growing up. I grew up with these characters, and I don't know, it just always really meant a lot to me. This is not something that I think I would want kids to read these days. It's not something I would force on people, but these patterns also come with full retreats, and like they're virtual retreats, but the Black Needle Society, I believe, pretty much started that concept, and don't quote me on that, but they're certainly the first ones that I'd ever heard of it with. And it's, to me, I feel like I'm paying for their treat, and the pattern is what it is. So anyway, long story short, the year 3 is the year that I jumped in 2022. 2025, and actually the box and retreat is on sale from the Black Needle Society right now for the year 7 retreat, the final year. And I have all of these going, so I'm not going to give the spiel after all of, before all of these, but I do have all of these going. I started with year 3 because it was my absolute favorite book. I really don't care about the movies, but I loved the books. So, let's get my notes back here. This is stitched on 32 count Garnet linen by Weeks Dye Works, I think. It's floppy, don't really recommend. I don't think I have any other Weeks fabric. I did not stitch on this in 2025, but I have 4,114 stitches out of 11,334, putting me at 36.3% complete on this one. Next is Happy Skies by Stitchrovia in Macondon. I stitched this on 18 count easy count Aida by Zweigart. I have stitched 2,857 stitches out of 6,550, putting me at 43.6%. And I did do 7.1% of that in 2025. This one is a good car project because it doesn't have many stitches. It's 18 count Aida, so it's pretty easy to see. So yeah, I don't really work on it outside of that, and not got a ton of love. Next is Homely Houseplants version 2 by Stitchonomy. This is stitched on 32 count Garden Party Lugana by BeStitchMe. I have stitched 3,143 stitches out of 8,082, putting me at 38.9%. And I did not touch this in 2025. But it is a really cute, sweet pattern. And there was a previous version, obviously, because this is version 2, but I liked the colors in this one better. I'm done with my first page of notes. Okay, next is Halloween Wreath by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is, I'm going to fold this down. This is stitched on 32 count vintage Stormy Night Lugana by Zweigart. I have stitched 8,799 stitches out of 18,595, putting me at 47.3%, and I did not touch this in 2025. I love this so much. I started with this one. I did not participate in the Christmas wreath, which is a Christmas version that looks kind of similar, but I do have that as a WIP. I started the stitch along for this one, and I kept up a little bit and then fell off and never went back to it. you'll see that theme. Next is Halloween Fairy by Nora Corbett. I got this off the Hirschner's website, if you are interested. I'm doing a color conversion. It's a little better. To silks, and just because I thought her dress colors were kind of boring. This is stitched on 32 count Anubis linen by Under the Sea Fabrics. This is a paper pattern, so I don't have any other, like, I mean, I got it digitally, but I couldn't get it to work in any pattern keeper or what have you, so I'm just using it as a paper pattern. And next, since I had mentioned the Christmas wreath, I have that one on a frame to work on soon. So this is Christmas wreath by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'm stitching it on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha Lugana by Zweigart so that it would match. It's the browner version of the gray that the Halloween wreath is stitched on. This is all I've got, which is better than previously. So I started this, I did in 2023, I did both Stitch Mania and, did I do 12 by 12? I don't know. I got had a million Christmas starts. And so I put like 100 stitches in this, and that was my start. So I've done a little bit more since then, but we are still at 737 stitches out of 18,353, putting me at 4%. And 1.7% was done in 2025. We're starting the 2023 WIPs with this one. I have 37 of those. So like I said, I did Stitch Mania, so I started, 23 projects, and then I think I started 12 Christmas projects, so I'm just rolling in projects from 2023 that I'm still trying to finish. But you can't finish what you don't start, so I don't really regret starting them. It makes it easier to just have even a few stitches put in to come back and pick up later. So, but I still want to see progress. So, you know. Next is Welcome to Rivendell by Country Magic Stitch. I'm stitching this on, is this 25 count? Yes, 25 count easy count Lugana, stitched, is this 2/1? I think this is 2/1 half, yes, this is 2/1 half cross. It's my first project doing that, and I really like it. I feel like the coverage is really good. I have stitched 4,627 stitches, and remember those are half cross, but they count as a full cross for the pattern. Of 22,528, putting me at 20.5%. And I did 5%, which is over 1,000 stitches in 2025. I am really not a full coverage stitcher, as you will see and have seen so far, but I have a few full coverage projects, but they're blocky, like blocks of color, and they're definitely something that I can't do too often, but I don't like confetti even in normal patterns. So something like this where it doesn't have a million colors, I feel like you get a good picture as far as like the picture to size ratio goes, and it's big blocks of color that just make stitching it easy. So I like those, but I don't think you're gonna see any Heaven and Earth designs from me anytime soon. Although, who knows? The world is my oyster. Next, in preparation for the Frogwarts Year 4, I went back and started years 1 and 2. So we'll start with Frogwarts Year 1, again by the Black Needle Society. This one is a little sad. Here's what I have. This is stitched on 32 count vintage smoky white linen by Zweigart. I have 510 stitches out of 10,705, putting me at 4.8%, and I did not touch it in 2025. Next is Frogwarts Year 2, Black Needle Society. Okay, well, my fill job's terrible. This is stitched on 32 count Princess Linen by BeStitchMe. I have stitched 852 stitches. I think I did Aragog and the Whomping Willow. Out of 10,899, putting me at 7.8%, and I also did not touch this in 2025. I feel like the things that I got good progress on in 2025 are no longer WIPs. So I either did not get great progress or did not touch it if it's still in the WIP pile. Okay. Next is Long Legs Scary Carrie by Lavender Wings. This is stitched on a mystery 40 count that I think is a Picture This Plus, but I really couldn't tell you the color. Yeah, and it is actually paper pattern, so I do not have any stats for you. I would say maybe like half done. But there's a lot of confetti in the multicolored literal confetti, I think, surrounding the witch, so. Next, this one literally is probably the most embarrassing one I've got here, but it's going to be a gift, and I wanted to just go ahead and get it started. So yeah, this is Zelda Stained Glass. This was from an Etsy seller that I'm sure quickly got taken down once Nintendo saw it. But anyway, so what I'm saying here is that you're not going to be able to find this. You can probably find something very similar, and then it'll just get taken down again, but this is a pretty common theme. And it's on 25 count, easy count. I literally just have a line of black. And is this full or half? I think this is actually full cross. I think this is 1/1 full cross. I was trying out, see what I liked. I'm gonna continue doing this 2/1 half cross. It just goes so much faster. This is huge. This is probably gonna be, you know, on my friend's deathbed, he'll get this buried with him or something. Like, who knows? But, yeah, I just, when I, you know, see this project or work on it theoretically, it reminds me of them, and yeah, so it's not going anywhere, but I don't know how much love it's gonna get. The thing with gifts is that I feel like, because it's not something, call me selfish, but because it's not something for me, it takes a little more motivation to work on. Okay, next is Ghost Stories by the Witchy Stitcher. This is stitched on 32 count Fright Night linen by Fortnite Fabrics. I've stitched 696 stitches out of 2,677, putting me at 26% done. I did not touch this in 2025. And funny story, I have the entire, like, this entire thing done other than the black, and that's all I've got left, and that's 75% of the pattern. Thanks, Witchy Stitcher. But it looks so cool, and I actually really like how it lets the heavily modeled fabric sort of shine through. I really like that. It just kind of cracked me up that 75% of the pattern's black. It does make it really easy though. Like, now that I've got this, everything's black. You don't have to worry about changing colors. Yeah, so I expect to have this one. I don't want to say that, since I should have had that done last year, but you know, well, I would probably expect to see that one done. Next is The Voodoo Man by Ship's Manor. And we have a pathetic little start, which I'm not even positive that's in the right direction. I'm just going based on the needle minder. This is stitched on 32 count 32 count Crimson Peak Lugana by Jodi of the Steel City Stitchers. I've stitched 103 stitches out of 3,332, putting me at 3.1%. Did not touch it in 2025. This is one that if I picked it up, I would finish it. It's just, I didn't pick it up, and I haven't picked it up since 2023. I got the start in on it, and then haven't touched it since. But like I said, it's ready to go whenever I get back to it. Next, we have a perforated paper pattern. So this is Till Death by Satsuma Street. I got the kit. Here is where I am. This is black perforated paper, and I have, it's stitched in a few different pieces. So this is like the little head piece for the female skeleton, and this is the top hat for the male skeleton, and you attach them after everything else is finished. There's also like a cute little veil that goes over the females, and yeah, it's so cute. These go really quick, and they make really good travel projects, so I have several started and just not finished, but I do actually finish a lot of like the Satsuma Street ornaments, so it's we'll get through them. Next, that one I'm doing as a paper pattern, so I didn't have any stats for you. Next is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'll hold up the whole thing and then This is stitched on a 32 count sand dollar linen by BeStitchMe. I've stitched 758 stitches out of 12,429, putting me at 6.1%. Did not touch it in 2025. I am also doing, I think I'm doing the Forbidden Fiber Co. conversion. So I got the thread pack from Forbidden Fiber Co. Okay. Oh, my needle minders are stuck. I knew I should have took those off. Well, you live and you learn. You'll live. Next is Cozy Cafe by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I did not start this or, do this as the stitch along, but it's so cute, so I started after. Here is what we have. This is stitched on 32 count Chai Love You opal linen by Fabralicious Yummy Fibers. Honestly, this is like the most boring thing ever. I'm just working on like the banner and the outline, but I wanted to do that, and I wanted to get like everything done except for the cups, and then I could do like one cup at a time as I went through. So that's what I'm working on every time I pick it up. I didn't tell you the stats on that. 785 stitches out of 12,966, putting me at 6.1%. If I did already say that, I'm sorry. And I did 2.3% of that in 2025. Next is To All a Good Night by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is stitched on 28 count opal linen. Really not sure who by. Yeah, if you're wondering about the placement, it's because I got this as a kit and did not realize that the pattern was as small as it was compared to the fabric. So I just started in the middle, and well, lo and behold, there's a lot of extra fabric. I have stitched 2,898 stitches out of 5,166, putting me at 56.1%, and I did 13.5% of that in 2025. This is going to be, and I feel halfway confident saying it, this is going to be one that I work on here in the near future, in January. So maybe I can get a finish. I would love to. It's pretty easy stitching. The 28 count is super easy. There's not that many colors. So yeah, would love to get this one finished. Which I could say about all of them. Okay, 2 pages of notes down. Next is Attack of the Thread Chickens by Ink Circles. This one has a dangling thread. I'm sorry. Here we go. So this is stitched on 36 count dappled hollow linen by Under the Sea Fabrics. I've stitched 235 stitches out of 1,416. It is tiny, you can tell from the scrap. Putting me at 16.6%, and I did not touch it in 2025. Because again, if I picked it up, this one would just be done. And I'm using a Trinway silk on this, but I do not remember the color. The next time I talk about it, I will I'll have that information. Next, Hello Pumpkin by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. When I first started stitching, I saw these everywhere. It's a series of seasonal trees. They are absolutely precious, and I got them all. They're all kitted up. I started with Hello Pumpkin. Well, here's where I'm at on Hello Pumpkin. Yeah. This, and they're all actually kitted up, but they are stitched on 32 count vintage smoky white linen by Zweigart. I have stitched 100 stitches to put to call it a start out of 8,059, putting me at 1.2%. I did not touch it in 2025. Or 2024, apparently. Next, Princess Peach Stained Glass Mirror Version by Make It Pink, or Pinky the Pink. And this one's stitched on 25 count easy count, 1 over 1 full cross. And this is the one that I had compared to Rivendell, and I cannot see a difference in the 2 over 1 half cross versus 1 over 1 full cross. And half cross is half the time, so we're gonna go with that. But this one's small, and I've already got, by the time I had decided that, we're gonna just stick it out for this one, but yeah. That's why for the Zelda one, I'm definitely going to switch to the 2 over 1 half. This one is a gift for the same person the Zelda stained glass is for. So this one I'm trying to finish before I really focus on that one for them. But yeah, this one has Krynic. You can see, no, I take that back. It has the DMC metallics, which are god awful, but it does have a really pretty, yeah. Even without backstitch, this looks really good. But I also highly recommend don't do these 1 over 1 or on Aida, although even Aida would be better, because these have partial stitches. This has weird backstitch. It doesn't start in actual corners and I'm gonna be fudging a lot. I've already been fudging with all the fractional stitches, and it looks fine. I'm not really worried about that. It's just, honestly, it's a headache to fudge that much. It would be easier to just follow the directions. So yeah, how about you read your patterns before you start something like this? But again, was in too deep when I realized it and was like, I'll just fudge it. And then the more and more I kept going, the more deep I was. So it'll be fine. They won't know a difference. Next is Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. This was the first Lola Crow stitch along that I tried to participate in. Keyword try, because it's clearly still a WIP. These stitch alongs, you have 6 weeks from when the stitch along starts to stitch the border, which is over 6,000 stitches. And if you do not have that border done for the weekly drops, when those starting, you're not going to catch up. Or I'm not going to catch up. Maybe you catch up. I'm not going to catch up. So I did not get the border done. Very quickly got overwhelmed. And you can see where we're at now. So this is stitched on a 32 count Water Spirit linen by Seraphim Fabrics, and it is like a beautiful, like perfect for this greenhouse situation. But I've stitched 485 stitches out of 15,905, putting me at 3%. Yeah, I do love this. I will get back to it, but it's, I have another Lola Crow, spoilers, I have another Lola Crow stitch along that is much closer to being finished that I'm going to finish first. Okay, next is Lovely Gnomes by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is stitched on 32 count Anemone Lugana by BeStitchMe. I have stitched 728 stitches out of 2,878, putting me at 25.3%. And I actually did 309 stitches, or about 10%, in 2025. So it must have been like a couple days of stitching. Maybe for like the March Stitchy Madness challenge. That's probably what it was. That's how I've been getting a little tiny piecemeal on some of these, is through those stitching challenges. Next is Royals by Ink Circles. This is stitched on 32 count Phoenix Lugana by BeStitchMe. I have stitched 276 stitches out of 6,356, putting me at 4.3% complete. I did not touch it in 2025. I love this Lugana, and it's... I don't think I would like the linen. I think that would be too much, but in the Lugana, it's fabulous. Alrighty, here is another embarrassing one, but for a different reason than some of my other shameful whips. So, next we have Castle Homecoming by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was a stitch along in, what was this, 2023? It is stitched on 32 count Valor linen by Picture This Plus, and look at this. Would you think it was done? It's not. It's it's so close though. I have stitched. Let's try to get you in frame here. Maybe. Yep. I have stitched 17,522 stitches out of 18,866, putting me at 92.9% complete. I have a sun and some clouds and some little wisps of magic here where those needle miters at, and yeah, and like in this top portion here above the buildings. That is it. I think it's either like right at 1,000 stitches or maybe like something like that. It is. I have the frame picked out. I've had the frame picked out for like what, 2 years. Yeah, that it's embarrassing. For the longest time though, I was stuck in this border, which has so, like, it's really pretty, but it had so many color changes and all of these little doodads, flowers, and oh, I hated it so much. So yeah, it languished. Let's see if I can, yeah. but it will be done in 2026. I'm saying it. Because, yeah, there's no excuse. I want it done. I want it on the wall. Next is Nevermore by Satsuma Street. This is a kit. Here is where I am. I have stitched 801 stitches out of 1,360, putting me at, where was I? 58.9% complete. And I did like 13.2, I mean, there was only 179 stitches in 2025. So I must have picked this up during a work trip once. Next is another perforated paper. This is Spooky Stories Bookmark, and this is by the Black Needle Society. Here is where I am. I literally I got 104 stitches in it to call it a start. So that's out of 1,793, putting me at 5.8%. But yeah, those are pretty easy and fun, the perforated paper projects. Next is the Never Ending Cycle by Hands On Design. This is stitched on 32 count lavender lugana, I think by Zweigart. I have done 727 stitches out of 2,271, putting me at 32% complete. Did not touch it in 2025. I did a slight color conversion on that one, but it was in like the same spirit of the called for. I just pulled colors I already had. Oh, more needle minder stuck. Okay, next is Home Sweet Home by Embroidery, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is stitched on 18 count Herald Aida by Picture This Plus. That would be all I have. I've done 102 stitches to get it started out of 9,407, putting me at 1.1%. I did not touch it in 2025. Yet again, it's a gift for the same person as some of these other video game ones. So I'm focusing on the Princess Peach stained glass, and then this one, and then Zelda when it gets done. I'll probably have some other small ones for them too in there before the Zelda gets done, but no big deal. Next, we have Miss Switch by Satsuma Street. This is a kit, and that's what I have. I have 105 stitches out of 1,063, putting me at 9.9% complete. Did not touch it in 2025. Next is Frogwarts Year 4. So I think a lot of these have been Mania starts that we were just going through that I have not gotten back to. So anyway, Frogwarts Year 4 by the Black Needle Society. Here is where I am. This is stitched on 32 count verdigris by Fortnite Fabrics. I just have the, what is that, Hungarian horntail, and then I started the border, which is a lot of stitches, but it's also easy fill-in, so I think I did that during like challenge stitching, which is part of the retreats. I have stitched 1,837 stitches out of 12,125, putting me at 15.2% complete. And I did 562 stitches, which is almost 5% in 2025. Probably the border. Next is Halloween Time by the Witchy Stitcher. Here's where I am. This is on 16 count sand Aida by Fiber on a Whim. I've stitched 1,133 stitches out of 3,721, putting me at 30.4% complete. Did not touch it in 2025. Another page of notes complete. These are kind of small pages though. Next is Gotham Morbs by Modern Folk Embroidery. Go. This is stitched on 32 count hot cocoa linen by BeStitchMe. I have stitched 1,152 stitches out of 3,916, putting me at 29.4% complete. And this is stitched with a Color and Cotton mist dye, which I loved, so exciting for me. There lost my gain, I guess. Next is Holly Jolly Sampler by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I changed this to, I recharted it and cut out the sampler portion at the bottom. So if you're wondering, oh, you're not going to have room for the bottom, yeah, it's because I took that off. This is stitched on 30, am I on the right one? No. This is definitely vintage country mocha lugana, but I don't know the count. I think I got it in like a mystery grab bag. I've stitched 525 stitches out of 2,084, putting me at 25.2% complete. And I believe I'm using like random scrap threads for this, which I like to do for a lot of small ornaments that I cut up. Next is Holiday Quaker by Lila Studio. I need a monitor out of the way. Here we go. This is stitched on 18 count glass elevator Aida by Forbidden Fiber Co. I've stitched 1,228 stitches out of 18,859, putting me at 6.5% complete, and I did not touch it in 2025. Next is The Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. Go. This is stitched on 32 count Dusk Lugana by Fiber on a Whim. I've stitched 806 stitches out of 5,893, putting me at 13.7% complete. And 6% of that I did in 2025. I love this fabric so much. Dusk and Silver Fox, both by Fiber on a Whim, are like some of my favorite grays. And neutral is, like, gray is probably my number one neutral. Next is Stardew Valley Christmas by Glitch Stitch AU. This is another full coverage that I'm doing. This is the 2/1 half cross, and I think the coverage looks fabulous. Let you see for yourself if you can. But yeah. 25 count easy count Lugana by Zweigart. I've stitched 4,909 half crosses, but stitches, out of 19,113, putting me at 25.7% complete. And I stitched over 2,000 of those in 2025. These blocks of colors are so easy to get progress in. And I'm not a fan of the confetti, but overall it's not too confetti heavy, so I can live with it. And it just looks so good. I mean, I see why people do full coverage. It's just not generally for me. The whole thing, you can see the curve here. The whole thing will fit it like that situation. It's not big. They have them for the other seasons as well, so, and I have them for the other seasons. So I'll probably finish this one and then start the next one. I really don't want all of them going at the same time. Next is a Wintry Mix by Sue Hillis Designs. This is stitched on 18 count Color Happens by Fiber on a Whim. I don't know if that, like, I think that may be what they call their mist dyes, because I have seen Color Happens from other folks on Flosstube, and it does not look anything like mine. I have stitched 335 stitches out of 4,070, putting me at 8.2%, and I believe that is only with the crosses, though, not back stitch. And if I'm, maybe this one has beads, I don't honestly quite remember. But it's just super pretty. I did 4.4 out of that 8.2% in 2025, which was like 181 stitches, so. Okay. Next is Merry Manatees by Lindy Stitches. Here is where I am. I have part of a manatee. So, yeah, I think this is the baby manatee. 32 count Princess Linen by BeStitchMe. I've stitched 605 stitches out of 4,410, putting me at 13.7% complete. And I did the 3.7% in 2025. And the needle minder matches perfectly, because that's also manatee. I saw that Hillary of Subpar Stitches bought this one at the Jingle Ball this year, well, in 2025. So maybe she will inspire me to get my butt on this. Next is Merry Meerkats by The Blue Flower. Oh, they're so cute. And you can't even see a full one yet, but they're so cute. Look at their little fat butts. This one is stitched on 32 count Nightshade linen by BeStitchMe. I've stitched 795 stitches out of 2,656, putting me at 29.9% complete. I did 205 stitches in 2025. This one would not take much to get done. It's not been a focus. But it's so cute. Clearly I like animals. I have a ton of animal patterns. Okay. Next is Snowy Snuggle Scrapbook, speaking of animals, and this one is an embarrassing start. Although I have a few of those, so. Let's see if I can get rid of this hanging thread here. At least put it on the back. Okay. So, Snowy Snuggle Scrapbook. This was a collaboration by The Blue Flower and Lindy Stitches. So, here's what I have. This is stitched on 16 count Silver Fox Aida by Fiber on a Whim. I've got 212 stitches out of 19,076, putting me at 1.1%, and I did not touch it in 2025. Next, we have Warm Hearts by Something in Common. Here's where we are. Let me fold this down. So this is stitched on 32 count Azure Blue Lugana by, I think this one, by Zygarde. I stitched 317 stitches out of 9,302, putting me at 3.4%. And I did stitch 150 stitches in 2025. And we're gonna have to wrap this up because my phone is saying storage is low and I don't have to deal with that, so I'm gonna try to get a move on here. Next is Winter Wonderland by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Here's where I am. This is stitched on 28 count Coastal Lugana by Picture This Plus. I have stitched 130 stitches to get it started out of 2,108, putting me at 6.2% complete. Spoiler, didn't touch it in 2025. We are now on to my 2024 WIPs, the ones that were started in 2024, and I have 10. And then 6 in 2025, so 16 left. Let's see if I can do it before I run out of storage. So next we have Luna Love by Sprouting Lupine. This is stitched on 18 count Da Vinci Aida by Picture This Plus. And I started with a conversion by Julie of Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World to get like some of this color palette. And I changed it just a tad. So I used some of the called for, some of her conversion, and then changed a couple on my own. But hers was the inspiration. I've stitched 2,108 stitches out of 7,499, putting me at 28.1% complete. And I did 8.3% in 2025. Next is the Addams Family Stitch Along by Just Stitch Designs. This is a huge boy. And here's where I am, which is like nothing. So this is stitched on 28 count fall linen by BeStitchMe. And of course 28 count is going to be huge, but I adore the Addams Family. So I love the, I really wanted to be able to see all the rooms, and yeah, love it. Let's see. I've stitched 785 stitches out of 50,972, putting me at 1.5%. And I did 171 in 2025. Oh, it's just so good. Next is My Mushy Valentine by Sprouting Lupine. Here is where I am. Go. This is stitched on 32 count Luna Moth linen by BeStitchMe. I've stitched 924 stitches out of 6,548, putting me at 14.1% complete. And I did 305 stitches in 2025. And Sprouting Lupine has come out with their next of these Valentine's Day samplers, and oh my gosh, the cutest little deer. Gonna have to do it, even though I haven't finished these. And we are on the last page of notes. Next is The Deadly Aquarium by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. Here is where I am. I mean, you can see a lot of blank space there, but it looks way better than the Greenhouse of Oddities. So, oh god, this is stitched on, my notes rolled up, sorry. This is stitched on 36 count Lagoon linen by Faber on a Whim. I've stitched 9,692 stitches out of 18,622, putting me at 52% complete. And I did not touch this in 2025. This was all in 2024 as part of the stitch along until I got behind and never went back. Story of my life. Next is Light by Barbara Anna. This was, and I think probably still is, a freebie. Here's where I am. This is stitched on 32 count Succulent Lugana by Color and Cotton. And I've stitched 614 stitches out of 5,501, putting me at 11.2% complete, and did not touch it in 2025. Next is Nostalgic Tarot, and this one is also incredibly embarrassing. So this is part of the Witchy Stitcher, and it just wrapped up actually, but this is a Sal that the Witchy Stitcher, Sal not Sal, had on her Patreon. She was releasing Lisa Frank inspired nostalgic tarot cards 2 every other month for the past, I don't know what, 2 years? And she released a frame to go with it. So I started the frame. I was going to be good and eat my vegetables and stitch the frame. I have the letter P. Kind of. No, I take that back. That's part of the letter R. It's going to start coming down in tarot. That's it. such great intentions. And I do love this so much. Again, Hillary of Subpar Stitches has finished her frame. It looks amazing. And I'm going to be super jealous when she gets to go to the cards. And I'm going to be working on the frame. This is stitched on 20 count black Aida by Zweigart. I've put in 214 stitches out of 14,685, putting me at 1.5% complete on the frame alone. That does not include any of the cards. And I did 0 stitches in 2025. Next is Frogwarts Year 5 by the Black Needle Society. Here is where I am. This is stitched on 32 count Dirty Piggy linen by BeStitchMe. Let's see what you'll see in here. I stitched 2,342 stitches out of 9,584, putting me at 19.6% complete. Did not touch it in 2025. And for that year, so you have stitching prompts that you have to meet in order to get the full credit for stitching challenges. And so I started Niffler by Lunar Fox Stitch, I think. Yes. This is just on an 18 count white Aida. I have 159 stitches out of 1,393, putting me at 11.4% complete, but I haven't picked it up again since. Next is Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. I'm stitching mine on 32 count black linen by BeStitchMe and by Zweigart, and I'm doing a BeStitchMe Silks conversion to a bunch of different colors. So I didn't really care anything about the yellows and oranges and really bright reds, so I asked for more of a pinks, purples, blues, greens, jewel tone conversion, and this is what I have so far, which is just one corner. And you can see those specialty stitches though. It is part cross stitch, and then you have specialty stitches bands. So I have one cross stitch part done, the smallest one, and then started on a specialty stitch section. This is a paper pattern, or so do not have any more details for you on where I'm at. And the last thing from 2024 is Cat the Anglerfish by Emily Peacock. This is a tapestry. It is cross stitch, but you do it on like this canvas with tapestry wool. So I got this as a kit for Christmas of 2024. I have done 1,011 stitches out of 12,040, putting me at 25.1% complete. And I'm looking at the wrong thing. That put me at 8.4% complete. I was going to say there's no way. There we go. Yeah. 8.4% complete. 513 of those I did in 2025. Like, it's easy stitching because it's big blocks of color, but working with the tapestry wool is pretty annoying. So, yeah. But it's gonna make a really cool pillow. now on to the 2025 WIPs, the new starts that are still WIPs, and we have 6 of those, and then we are done. So first, and it is still in the nerd hoop because it's my current project I'm gonna try to get finished, but we have Haunted Christmas Post by Haunted Frame Stitchery. Here is where I am. This is stitched on 32 count April Showers linen by BeStitchMe. I've stitched 523 stitches out of 2,084, putting me at 25.1% complete. That was where I was reading that 25.1%. Yeah, this one will be finished probably in my next Flosstube. Next is Midnight Nature Walk by Sprouting Lupine. At StitchCon 2025, my table mates and I worked on a SAL. The SAL already existed, but we hopped on, called A Year of Nature Walks SAL, I believe. If not, I'll correct myself. But my start, I went ahead and got it started, but I've done 44 stitches out of 1,673, putting me at 2.63%. They're not large patterns. I just started it and didn't get back to it yet. But I will have this finished by StitchCon of 2026 so that we can all take photos. And this fabric is from a mystery grab bag by thesewingshop.ca. Next was my start for Frogwarts Year 6. By the Black Needle Society, again. Look at this. This will brighten your day. This is 32 count My Sunshine linen by BeStitchMe. Those are the vanishing cabinets. I've done 2,115 stitches out of 12,443, putting me at 17% complete. I did all of that during challenge stitching. Next is Candy Apple House by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. This was a group start at Stitch North in the fall, and we are going, like, my table mates and I are going to go to Stitch North in the spring of 2026 this year, so I gotta get this done before then. So anyway, here is where I am. This is on 36 count Lagoon linen by Fiber on a Whim, and I've done 281 stitches out of 4,028, putting me at 7% complete. Next one is kind of a weird one. Get the hanging thread to the back. Here we go. So anyway, this is the Winter Woods Biscornu by The Blue Flower. And it's weird because it's 2 pieces, 2 separate pieces. Yeah, so this was a kit for the Jingle Ball 2025. However, I thought this was going to be small, right? So I actually signed up for both of the Blue Flower classes. And I don't regret it, but I didn't keep up. The Biscornu alone was 13,000 stitches. So, anyway, here is where I am on the bottom of the Biscornu. This is stitched on 32 count Pistachio linen by Fiber on a Whim. this is, like I said, the bottom, and these are like the Rocky Mountains, and whenever you do your biscornu, they sit up like that. I was trying to get the bottom done first because it's boring, but at least, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to get it done, so I'm at least going to like get good fill-in outlined for the jingle ball. And I did, but I also just didn't get done. So that's the bottom. And the top, I just went through and outlined and started on a tree. Because I was like, screw it, we're gonna get to the cute animals. So yeah, I stitched 3,608 stitches out of 13,001, putting me at 27.8% complete. Oh, it's gonna be a big honkin' biscornu, but I think it's going to look fabulous. And obviously, like, I was in the class and it does look fabulous. I can't wait, but it's big. And then, last one. This is number 4 of the Halloween Snow Globes by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. If you watch my finish parade, I had the other 3. This is a SAL that just wrapped up that started in the fall of 2025. And it was a set of 4 Halloween snow globes of different animals dressed up in their trick-or-treat costumes. So this is number 4, and it is Patsy the Pig. Here's where I am. I put a little bit more in today during lunch, but I have stitched 1,472 out of 2,213 stitches, putting me at 66.5% complete, and I think I actually hit 75% complete today at lunch, so those numbers are a tad outdated, but this is correct. The numbers were outdated. This is my current like lunchtime project stitch, so this will be done the next time, the next Flosstube you see as well. So that's it. That's all I got. And I'm shocked we made it before I ran out of phone memory, but yeah, that's it. I love all of these projects. I can't wait to get back to them, get them done. And I am excited for you to follow along and see how I do with my goals and my plans and working on all these lovely, beautiful, fun things. Yeah. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!